bikes is that if someone buys one and they try it, they're not going to enjoy cycling because the bike's not going to ride well. So how could they enjoy cycling? And I want people to enjoy cycling on a high quality bike, and I want them not to break the bank doing it. So we feel a priority that if we focus on the product design, we will constantly have a feature evolution. And that's why the toothbrush companies are saying, what's the last guy doing? Let me iterate on that and add a feature to it. That's why the cable companies are saying, I just got to add one more channel, and then they're going to go change over to me. And we took a step back and said, we're not going to focus on looking at the best bikes and adding features to them. You know, people kept saying, why don't you add a bottle opener to your bike? That would be pretty cool. I'd like to have a bottle opener on my bike. But, you know, we don't need that. And that's not going to sell more bikes. And that added cost isn't going to help our consumer. So what we tried to focus on was a customer design focus. What are the core essentials that our customer actually needs to integrate a bicycle into their life? We wanted a bike that was always ready to ride. So a lot of people, we're in the Northeast, so you guys know, you have a bike, you ride it, you know, November, December comes, and you park it. And you probably don't touch it again until earliest March, April. And that's if you're lucky and you're a little bit hardcore with the weather. So, you know, usually then you dust off your bike, the tires are flat, the chain's rusted, and now you gotta bring it in for a tune-up before you can ride it. And what happens is you don't want to bring it in for a tune-up, you don't want to put it on the car, and you don't ride your bike. So we wanted to focus on what are the real key problems that people have with bikes, and how do we make sure that our bikes are always ready to ride and have the core essentials so that you don't need to bring it into a shop on any regular basis, and that it's affordable, and that it's well made so it rides well so you actually enjoy cycling. We didn't want our customer to see this. So, this is our bike, and this is a custom edition we just did for the Viceroy Hotel, so we're working on some partnerships right now. The bike, I think, is a beautiful bike, but we didn't design this beautiful bike. We didn't ever have this in our vision. What we visioned was this guy. We started working on this guy and saying, what does he need to get around town? If he's a cyclist, we don't want to talk to him. We don't want to talk to cyclists. We want to talk to people that don't own bikes or haven't been on a bike in a long time. And say, what are the features that are important? I don't want to get flat tires. I don't want my pants to get eaten up by the chain. I want to be able to sit in my basement all winter and then get on and go. How much do you want to spend? As little as possible. I want to be able to lift it onto my car. I want to be able to carry it upstairs. Those were the problems we set out to design. And when we designed those problems, we designed a beautiful bike. So I'll take you through a couple of areas. I'm going to talk about our product and what makes our product different. I'm going to talk about how we make our product accessible to our customers. I'll talk about our story, because it is a lifestyle company, and we don't just sell bikes, we sell experiences, and we try and integrate into our customers' lives. And finally, I'll talk about service, because if you don't have great service in your company, you can't tie all this together, and you can't be an aspirational company that your customers are happy to talk about at the dinner table and at drinks with their friends. So, our product. I'm sure you guys have heard this saying, form follows function, especially probably some of the folks in engineering, form follows function. It typically does in any design process. Figure out what you're trying to solve, and the form follows, the end result follows what you're trying to do. What we always say is essential function. So we always focus on simplicity and the core essentials. We don't go outside the core essentials. I'll talk more about this and about the simplicity of our bike and how we don't handle what some people may think are essentials, but I'll tell you all day long they're not. I'll tell you why. Here's some of the essentials we tried to fix. We found a lot of people with rusted chains and derailleurs that were out of alignment. Your bike squeaks, it's hard to pedal, the gears shift on their own, it's not fun to ride, you have to bring it into a bike shop, you're out $50 to $100 on a tune-up, and it takes a week. We saw a lot of bent wheels around the city. We wanted to solve that by using higher quality materials. And And a lot of people we talked to, they needed something light. Now we talked to a lot of people in New York, and they have walk-up apartments. So they needed something they could carry at their apartment. We also talked to a lot of people in California. They ride on rails to trails. They ride down at the base of the mountain or at the beach. They wanted something they could lift onto their car and go. So we knew it needed to be lightweight. We knew it needed to be durable. And we knew it needed to be not susceptible to most weather. So how did we design the bike? We started with the most complex part of the bike, which is the drivetrain. And we wanted a grease-free drivetrain. We wanted a drivetrain that would not rust out here in the New England winter. And we have a lot of customers who've been riding their bikes all winter with snow tires, with all the salt on the ground in New England. Because we have a grease-free drivetrain. It won't rust. Not only will it not rust, it won't eat your pants. So I can ride a bike to work in a business suit and not worry about my pants getting eaten or getting grease on them. So we came up with a belt drive system. The belt drive system not only is grease-free, not only does not rust, but it lasts 3 times longer than a chain. So it helps deliver on our story of maintenance-free. This belt drive system can go 10,000 miles without needing replacement. For most people, recreational cycling, 10,000 miles is a lifetime. Next, we focused on essential gears and brakes. So all the bike companies out there are trying to say, why would you buy the 21-speed bike when we offer you a 24-speed bike? Every time I go for a bike ride with my wife on her 24-speed bike, she says, how do these things work again? And she winds up staying within a couple gears. And that's most people. So we designed a 3-gear system where if you're on flat ground, you're in gear 2. If you're going up a steep hill, you're in gear 1. And if you're looking to haul ass, you go to gear 3. It's that simple. 1, 2, 3. Anyone can figure it out. 3 gears is plenty of gears for most recreational riding. And in keeping the gears simple, the customer's comprehension of how it works is simple, but also the maintenance schedule goes down considerably. Next, we focused on the brakes. We use a coaster brake. So you pedal forward to go, pedal backward to stop. You probably remember coaster brakes when you were a kid. It's how kids learn how to ride bikes. They work great. When you were a kid, maybe you just skid all over the place. You had those skid parties up and down the street, right? These brakes work really well. They don't just skid. They stop you very safely and fastly. They stop you fast and safely. And they're fun to ride. It actually reminds you of when you were a kid, pedaling backwards to stop. And that's fun because we want our bikes to be fun. We want people to get on our bikes and smile. So we focused on the essentials and we didn't add any more than the essentials to the bike. This rear hub contains our gears and brakes. It's rated to go 3,000 miles before its first maintenance, even if you let it sit open. I talked before about having a lightweight frame. We use aluminum. Most people at this price range and in our industry use steel. Steel's heavy and steel rusts. We use aluminum. Aluminum is lightweight and it doesn't rust. Aluminum costs more. So we had to figure out how to put a higher quality frame on than our competitors, but still keep the price low. And that was part of the challenge of the business I'll talk more about. We also knew that our customer was not used to being on a bike. And we didn't want them to go ride to work and have their butt be sore and their back be sore. We wanted them to be comfortable. So we put a really comfortable seat on out of the gate. We put upright handlebars on. So your back and your butt are going to arrive where you're going feeling good. And when you go to sleep at night, you feel like you got some exercise, not that you're sore. Finally, we did durable and puncture-resistant features, such as our puncture-resistant tires. Now, we didn't invent puncture-resistant tires. They've been around for a long time. If you go to a bike shop and say, I keep getting flats, they're going to sell you a more expensive tire, called a puncture-resistant tire. But bike manufacturers never list those as standard on the bike because they cost more. And most customers don't know they need it. So we try to think of the little things that cost more later and include them standard. We also include a kickstand standard and a water bottle cage standard. So if you buy a bike at a bike shop, you leave, you come back 2 weeks later and say, gee, I need a kickstand, gee, I need a water bottle cage. Those are upsells for them. We include it all standard in the box so that you have everything you need to just go and enjoy your bike. we didn't think about what we call non-essential elements. Do I have any people in the room that would consider themselves serious cyclists? All right, we got a couple, so that's good. Any serious cyclist will tell you that a front handbrake is 70% of your stopping power. So how can we ship a bike without a front handbrake? Really easily. We engineered our bike so that your weight sits on the rear of the bike. On most standard bikes where you're more hunched over, your weight's on the front of the bike. So by keeping your weight on the rear, first off, we're putting that pressure away from your back and your butt. And second, we're ensuring that you only need one brake, which keeps the operation of the bike really simple. Now, we do have customers saying, yeah, I get that, but I really want handbrakes. And so that's not a problem. We sell a front handbrake on our website. It costs 30 bucks. If you want a handbrake, add it to your bike, please. Fenders. Our customer is a recreational cyclist. Our typical customer does not ride in the rain. You ask most people, why should you have fenders in your bike?